So what do you do when you make a purchase and the quality of the materials just don't live up to your expectations? Well, I give the seller a second chance to make things right. But a recent experience that I had didn't turn out that way. But it did give me the opportunity to make a comparison between two popular seat covers. So today on Rod, Rides, and Wrenches, I'm serving up a comparison between MotO.K and Luimoto seat covers on my 2010 VFR1200. Is that how you say their name? MotO.K? Motok? MotO.K? MotO.K? I don't know.
I should probably explain what's going on first. My Honda VFR1200 is a very good bike, but it does suffer from some common flaws. One of the most notable is the seat. It's not so uncomfortable a seat as it's just so damn slippery. This bike has the worst seat for grip that I have ever had the unfortunate experience of riding. I mean, it makes you feel like Rossi since your ass is so easily moved off the seat in the corner, but seriously, there's more grip on a greased up deaf guy.
Oh, this is my favorite event. Catch the greased up deaf guy.
You're never gonna catch me. Forget about it. Go do something else. See you next year.
Since I was going to replace the seat cover, I thought it would be prudent to add some cushioning by way of a gel pad insert in the seat as well. First step in the process, of course, is to remove the old seat cover. Now, the VFR1200 seat cover is glued down to the foam, making this a near impossibility. I did make a couple of attempts to remove the old cover. You can try to use a heat gun to loosen the glue, but there was no point, as the factory cover was only going to separate if I took a layer of foam with it. Something I just didn't want to do was cut down or damage the top foam on this relatively thin seat. This determined the only way to install my gel pad was from the bottom. Installing the gel between the foam and the seat pan is another great way to maintain the contours of your seat while still benefiting from the comfy gel insert. To get the gel to the correct size, I used the seat pan and laid the bulk gel pad out. I then trimmed the pad until I was happy with the size and fitment. With my pad trimmed to size, I could then use it to transfer onto the bottom of the seat foam. There was some contours in the pan and seat foam that lined up, and I just used those as a reference, making the transfer fairly easy. To make allowance for the gel, I had to measure out what area I was going to recess in the underside. This grid pattern that you see will help me remove the foam at the correct depth. And by making multiple incisions in the foam, you're less likely to take too much foam out. By measuring the depth of my gel pad, transferring that to my blade, I cut on the lines I made vertically. And after removing a few of those pieces of foam, I was able to get my blade in horizontally against the seat and trim up the remainder. There is some fine-tuned trimming that you may need to do to ensure your gel pad gets cleanly into your foam. After the gel is sized and installed though, the next step is the cover. The first cover we're going to install is the MotO.K seat cover. At least that's what I'm calling it going forward. MotO.K. I was attracted to this cover because of the cool look and the subtle stitching which comes in your choice of color against this grippy faux suede. The cover is made in Greece by MotO.K and I purchased it directly from them on eBay. The cover looks better in person and has a bit of an unusual construction. Most street bike covers use the same material from the side skirt of the seat down to the fold where you would staple it into your seat pan. MotO.K uses this stretchy bit of elastic. It's somewhat reminiscent of an underwear waistband. The elastic band is stitched to the grippy vinyl part right on the fold of fabric where there's a lot of tension on the seat cover. What was also noticeable at this area was the waistband fabric only has one stitch line and doesn't have any reinforcement backing tape like on the rest of the seams on the seat cover. I can't help but think that this is a crucial area with a great deal of tension on it since this is where your staples go. But more on that in a minute. The seat on the VFR1200 also has this sculpted bit, which is at the back of where the rider sits. Fitting the seat cover to this area requires a lot of adhesive. Or in the case of the MotO.K cover, it uses this flap of fabric with strings tied to it, specifically to create a seam in the cover that is pulled into the foam. The flap of the fabric requires the seat to be cut and the flap pulled under the seat foam. That's what the strings are for. It's to help you set the flap and pull it through the seat foam. You don't have to do anything with the strings once they're pulled through if you combine this feature with some adhesive on the fabric between the old and new seat covers, or the new cover and the foam. Here are some quick tips for installing your own seat covers. Removing the old cover just requires a small flathead screwdriver and a pair of pliers. Heat up the new seat cover before installing it. You can use a hairdryer or just put it outside in the sun for a few minutes before you try installing it. I don't use anything more than a construction grade stapler like this DeWalt model. And I prefer to start at either the back or the front of the seat and align the cover with the center of the seat, then work my way around. Every cover should come with a notch in the center to help you align it with the center of the seat pan. You may need to staple, remove, and adjust, then restaple from time to time to get the balanced look that you want from the details in the new seat cover. After all this effort, however, a single stitch seam on the bottom edge of the MotO.K cover, let go. Now, there's no going back, and I had to install the cover since I'd already cut through the seat to install it in the first place. I also had planned a trip for this VFR and wasn't going to call it off over a little tear in the side of the seat. The trip also gave me an opportunity to try out this super grippy fabric. Although not happy with the situation, I contacted MotO.K and proposed they send me a replacement, and I'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, I also contacted Luimoto, and having installed a few of their covers in the past, most recently on the Yamaha FZ6, I was confident I would not run into the same issues I just experienced on the MotO.K seat. The Luimoto seat cover was about $80 more than the MotO.K, and it arrived after my summer bike trip. So after installation, it's given me the opportunity to compare both seat covers. The Luimoto installed as expected. Unfortunately, the Luimoto doesn't have that flap of fabric to pull under the foam and aid with the installation on this contoured area of the VFR. To compensate, the first step in installing the Luimoto seat was to adhere this critical area at the back of the rider section first. Once the adhesive is set up, the rest of the cover can be installed on the seat pan. The Luimoto cover gives you a lot of fabric to stretch and fold over the seat pan. The VFR1200 seat isn't the easiest cover to install, and the Luimoto has these red and silver colored features that need to align front to back. Installed and glued down, the Luimoto seat cover fits easily over the Honda original cover and has a clean OEM type appearance. Putting the seats through their paces, I'm going to confirm that the fabric on the MotO.K seat cover grips well. This is the sort of grip that you need on a track day. The stock seat on the VFR1200 is like sitting on a sheet of ice. Just a bit of input means you're on the edge of the seat, and going from that to the MotO.K meant I had to use my legs again to lift and move my butt to get to the same position on the seat. You just don't slide around on the MotO.K, which is what I wanted. The seat also looks great installed. I mean, that red double stitching sure is pretty. Knowing this stitching is reinforced from the back means that it should stand up. Too bad MotO.K didn't think to do that on the skirt area. The Luimoto cover is substantially better than the stock cover. It's thick, has a great texture. The grip level is what you would expect out of a quality cover. It's not the super grippy feel that you get from the MotO.K, but you don't slide around and definitely have to engage your thighs to move around on the seat. Luimoto is a pretty ideal setup for everyday riding / touring, which is exactly what I do with this bike. The MotO.K seat cover was more of what I was originally looking for, and I would love to tell you that I had a great experience with MotO.K getting that replacement seat cover. Unfortunately, I can't. The relationship between myself and MotO.K quickly deteriorated after their initial response and every email after that. They even launched a case against me on eBay because I said if they were not going to replace the cover, I would just request a refund. When they refused, I rated them accordingly as a dissatisfied customer. I can't say that you'll have the same experience that I had, but I was dealing with MotO.K seats in Greece, and after a couple of weeks, eBay finally stepped in and made MotO.K pay for the return of their seat cover and made sure I got a full refund of my purchase.
So if you're not already using eBay as one of the places that you find motorcycle parts and accessories, I got one question for you, and that is, why not? I've been buying and selling on eBay for over 23 years now, and it is one of my go-to places for quality new and used parts. In fact, I've got some links down in the description for this video where you can find the seat cover to fit your motorcycle from either MotO.K or Luimoto, or anything else you might need for your ride. So in the end, I would have preferred to use the MotO.K seat cover. I did like the way it looked, the way it felt, but I have to give Luimoto a 10 out of 10 when it comes to quality of workmanship, ease of installation, and the quality of their installation instructions. Do you have a similar story, something that you purchased and things didn't quite work out the way you wanted? Why not share it in the comments section below? And until next time, be sure to ride safe.